So the best thing about the Pokemon market is that everybody has their own speculations of the future of it. They all have their own plays as far as investments and collections, and I'm feeling pretty good about the Pokemon market right now. And then there's Nostalgianomics. So in today's video, we're going to react to his take on why Pokemon market is on the brink of a collapse. What are we going to do with all of our sealed product? What are we going to do when our sealed product goes down to zero? It's, oh my gosh, stresses me out. Or does it? Let's get into today's video.
Brief nosedive, and everybody thought we were headed for the Great Depression, the likes of which we had never seen before. The fear-mongering was at an all-time high. Everyone was dumping things and raising cash, and I made a video talking about how it was going to be okay. Now it's time to buy. You should be throwing your money into cryptocurrencies. You should be throwing your money into stocks. You should not be selling any of your Pokemon. And a lot of people thought the Pokemon market was in trouble. Of course it was going to follow the downturn in the global economy with the tariffs and all the stock market and crypto markets crashing. And people thought the real estate market was going to crash and all these good...
Did the Pokemon market, or was the Pokemon market not affected by tariffs? I mean, I think his boy Brian from Poke&E would say something a little different. A lot of these LGSs are greatly affected by these tariffs. I don't think that they're tied to the Pokemon market. To be specific, I don't think it's tied to macroeconomics, even microeconomics, like Alex is saying.
Good
but
things.
Let's proceed.
And it's just funny to look back at videos that were made around then, and people in the comments and discords around then, and the things that were being said. And it shows you how when a little bit of fear creeps in, it gets people saying crazy things. Now, fast forward to now, you look back and you say, oh yeah, it wasn't a big deal. It was a brief little blip on the radar. Stock market's back to near all-time highs. The crypto markets are back to near all-time highs. The real estate market's fine, and the Pokemon market is relatively unaffected. In fact, there are a lot of items that are higher, and some are at their all-time highs. And I think this is just a good lesson to learn about what's happening right now in the Pokemon hobby. Pretty much the majority of things you hear right now is the market is topping. The crash is imminent. They are gonna, I love this phrase, reprint stuff into the ground.
Holy cringe-a-moly. What the hell was that? But anyways, we're gonna attack the arguments. Let's just start with the last one. Reprint everything into the ground, right? It's gonna happen. We're gonna see a big reprint on a lot of these last sets. When I think in general, I can't speak for everybody, but in general, a lot of us are saying this stuff like they're going to reprint a lot of this stuff, not to the ground, but at a big extent, especially Destined Rivals and Prismatic Evolutions. Is it good to buy those two sets at what they are right now? Absolutely not. We're going to see these two sets for another, year and a half, maybe 2 years of the reprint window. Hell, they could print Pokemon 151 if they want to on this back end. We got Black Bolt and White Flare right around the corner. We can see that product just dribbled out for the next 2 years. Same thing with Prismatic. They could do more Prismatic Costco bundles. We don't know what this reprint is going to look like. I think that these now reprints are going to be like Costco and Sam's Club, like trickle down effect. We're going to see them in throwing into different collection boxes and just be bundled differently. So we will technically get a restock or a reprint, but it's going to be it's just a little bit different from previous cycles. Now, what he's saying is that most people are calling for a collapse or calling for a top. If he can't see that, for as smart as Alex is, this is why I say that he just plays a role. He plays the character. He plays the YouTuber to a T. This is why he's a very successful YouTuber at 31,000 subscribers or around there. But he knows that the top is here. Once we see people stabbing each other in line at GameStop, once we see people fighting every single weekend for any product that's coming out. I haven't seen too many fights coming up on Destined Rivals. Underrated set, my personal opinion. But the top is close. At least very, very close. And I'm not saying things are going to crash, but things are going to definitely have a downturn. Pokemon just can't keep this popularity. Nothing can keep this or stay this popular, right? Not comparing it to like a Furby or a Tamagotchi or fidget spinners or anything popular, but just with popularity, things fade out. People will start to move into different markets. Scalpers will try to get into different markets. Maybe the shoe world becomes popping all over again. The shoe market is completely dead. There's going to be other opportunities and or better opportunities, not Pokemon. Maybe One Piece gets hot again. Maybe scalpers go do that. The correction is coming because of the hype. The hype is coming down. It'll eventually always will. It's a cyclical cycle. We're going to see ups and downs and lefts and rights. So for Alex to come out and say that it kind of shows what he's doing, because I know he's a smart guy. I give him his flowers all the time. He's a really, really smart dude. Obviously, look at all the sealed product. Look at all the binders. He's collected he's mastered Pokemon damn near as far as the collection and investing stuff. So to say stuff like that, I'm just like, come on, Alex, you know better.
And we've already been through multiple reprints, by the way, guys. Prismatic Evolution's got a massive reprint, massive Costco drops. ETBs are back to 110. Surging Spark's got a pretty decent sized booster box reprint. Boxes are holding up in the 220s, 230s, which is honestly what you expect from reprints. Now, it's not what the crazies online expect. They expect things to drop down to $100 a box or MSRP or something crazy.
Okay, we're not saying that. I think when he says crazies, he's talking to people like me. No, we're not saying that. We don't expect things, booster boxes to go down to 100, but we get them. We need to get them close to MSRP. Damn it. Yes, Surging Sparks has had a decent size reprint. Decent is a very strange word that a lot of people can take a lot of different ways. Do you think we're done seeing these Surging Sparks reprints? Absolutely not. We're probably going to get annihilated with just bundles and collection boxes in this next 2 years, just as a way for Pokemon to just give us some crap, like collection, like like promos, some stamp promos, and then just throw in, Surging Sparks packs. We're going to see it. We're going to see it.
Right? But that's not reality. And this other idea that, Alex, I wouldn't buy anything Prismatic Evolutions, they're printing it into the ground. And I say, okay, well, can I just throw something at you guys? 151, which they've done multiple prints on of bundles and Blooming Waters collection boxes and all this good stuff, right? Hear me out. How is it that the ETBs are still in the high 200s and the UPCs are still in the high 300s?
Let me cook. I got the answer. I have the answer. Why do we see the ETBs for 151, despite multiple reprints, still hold those prices? Because there was early investor, and it could be multiple answers, right? This is just my conclusion. Because we've had early investors, early collectors go super hard for 151 around release date. It sat around at Costco. I tell you guys a story all the time about how I passed by those ETB bundles all the time. Nobody wanted those things. People were talking. I remember calling from the Poke office talking, and Rob Burns was talking about how 151 was just sitting around for months and months. There's a lot of people that stocked up on this stuff. They stocked up. They really did believe in Pokemon 151. And then once we saw the hype and the FOMO and every Pokemon YouTuber talking about Pokemon 151, how it's so underrated and so yada yada yada, you could feel the way that you want to feel. But after hoarding a lot of this product, people saw short-term potential gains and started to list a lot of this product. I feel like this Scarlet Violet 9 is a lot of flipping. A lot of people that see opportunity for a quick flip, they know that reprints are coming, or they can get at a little bit cheaper price. They see the hype, they see the FOMO. There's a lot of smart people right now investing in Pokemon. A lot of smart people right now collecting in Pokemon. And then it is what it is. A lot of the product got listed. A lot of people know the true value. They see all the new people coming in trying to grab all the scraps off the ground. And then we have this. Then we have Pokemon 151 being at these prices. Can we see more Blooming Waters, enter the mix? Can we see more Pokemon 151 booster packs down the road? Possible. It's all possible. It's not 5 years from now. But to compare that to prismatic evolutions, I think is very it's not comparable whatsoever. Prismatic evolutions has just came out. What are we, like 4 to 6 months away from, it's about that old. They're going to print that stuff into the ground. They actually are. We're going to get bombarded with a lot of these ancillary products that not a lot of people want. A lot of people are going to be sitting on those EV pouch collections. A lot of people are going to be sitting on, the premium figure collection that just got announced. I want one. I really, you guys know how I feel about premium figure collections. I'm all down for those things. We'll be collecting those. These are the products that are going to sit. These are the products that are going to reprint, restock, whatever you want to call them. Pokemon's gonna provide prismatic evolutions in different ways. It's not just gonna be a straight ETB reprint, which could happen, or a straight booster bundle reprint. That could happen as well.
But the packs are still inexpensive, and the bundles and Blooming Waters boxes are still inexpensive. Could there possibly be a world where they don't print any more Prismatic Evolutions ETBs and they just keep reprinting bundles and maybe a new collection box they come up with like they did with Sea and Sky for Crown Zenith and Blooming Waters for 151, and that's how they get packs into consumers' hands, and they let the ETBs and UPCs be collectible the same way they did with 151? Look, not trying to create FOMO, but to completely not even take that into consideration.
We take it into consideration, but it's just too early, Alex. Come on. I literally just heard him on a live stream saying that it's too early for Prismatic. And then he goes in, what is this? How many days? This is 13 days ago. It was right around there. It was with Dr. Parapod. And then he comes out and says stuff like this. I'm like, bro, like, you're a walking contradiction. Like, a lot of people are gonna... there's a lot of people that look up to Alex that take his word for what it is. So I think it's kind of dangerous, but again, just grown people in this hobby, they needed to do their research as well.
Being closed-minded. The fact that that's what they did with 151 tells you that is at least a possibility of something they might do with Prismatic. And so this idea that everybody has these answers online and that they can get on and spread this nonsense of imminent doom, market collapse, market is topping, reprints into the ground, blah, 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 is the same as if you turn on CNBC any day of the week. Just let it play in the background. Over the course of the day, you'll hear some real estate expert come on and talk about how real estate's about to crash. Guess what? That same guy was probably on there a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, saying the same thing, and he's been wrong now for 3 years.
I know it's funny that he makes these references, because if you go to his channel, that's all it is. It's just like it's like the collapse, the downfall, it's like based on negativity in the market. I've never seen him have like a positive video. And it's funny because it's also funny because on that live with Dr. Parapod, they were both saying like, "Oh, I'm so sick of all the negative content. I'm so sick of the red thumbnails," and then, but you guys, this whole channel is based on that. This channel is all based on market crashes and people telling that he thinks that people are saying that they're gonna sell it all. I think these like people, it's like the therapist meme where it's like, is the market collapse in the room with us right now? That's how I feel like. I feel like he just makes things up, which he does a great job at storytelling, guys. Remember, at the end of the day, given this thought, he's one of my favorite content creators, right? At the end of the day, he plays the fiddle very well. He tells a story and he sticks to the script. It's going to be contradicting. It's going to be contrasting, but it is what it is. This is why we like Alex. This is why. But on the other hand, for all the people that are new here, this is why I react to these videos, because I have to kind of pull back the curtain of truth for a lot of these new collectors and investors. You have to take Alex's word with a grain of salt, because he's doing it for the views, for the clicks, for the likes.
Right? Someone saying the stock market's going to collapse. They've been saying the stock market's topping out for the last 3 or 4 years, right? What else? The crypto markets. There's a crypto winter coming. There's always a crypto winter coming. And it just goes to show, guys, that in any financial industry, anything that has to do with valuable assets, there are always people out there calling the crash. Everybody always wants this doomsday scenario. But the fact of the matter is, when you look back at history, no matter where you would have bought, if you would have held for any large amount of time, the bears were always wrong. I've said this before. Bought at the top of the Great Depression before it crashed. Held it long enough, you were right, being a bull.
This is where we disagree. And I invest every single dollar I have. That's side income, money, YouTube paychecks. It's all going to my investing. So I could speak on this, both in stocks and in crypto. Your entry is the most important part. If you're trading, if you're a leverage trader, even if you're just buying at a market, your entry point could literally be your make or break. You can literally buy one of the worst assets, but if you buy it at one of the best times, one of the best looking charts, you can perform really well. Kind of goes the same thing with Pokemon. He's saying you buy anytime. And I always had the idea, I was always pushed the thoughts of, if you just DCA slowly, you'll get that average down and down and down, but you won't. You will never catch up to the person that just bought at near the bottom. Doesn't matter how much you DCA to try to get those averages in, you will never catch those averages. So he's saying, yeah, if you hold anything, any sealed product in Pokemon long enough, you're gonna see some gains. Again, you guys laughed at my battle style stuff. I was buying those at 70 bucks. You guys laughed at the Fusion Strike plays early on. Look at where we're at now. I held it for years and years and years, and they're finally giving back those gains. And so for Alex to say that you can just buy whenever the wind blows, you just DCA and you just hold, you just hodl. It could work for some assets, but we're talking about investing, and this is like my whole like spiel and gripe with Pokemon investing YouTubers like this. It's like it's investing because you can park money into it, but it's not really investing. Like, we can't really hit like a buy and sell order. We can't really just sell whenever we want. We have to find like perfect situations for our investment to really make sense. And when he says stuff like this, it's a little silly, a little misleading as well.
Right at the top of the '08 crash, right? The big real estate crash, and you held, guess what? You eventually made money. Every single time in history, if you would have just held your stocks, held your crypto, held your real estate, you made money. And guess what?
There's something that's called holding bad assets. It doesn't matter if I just hold battle styles, right? Let's just say battle styles continues to do not great, right? Let's just put this one on the table. You hold a bad asset long enough, you're gonna make money, sure, but could you have put it into a better assets and held and made a lot more money? Yes. Could you have bought battle styles near the top and then you're just holding at that same price for a really long time? Also, yes. So this is not good advice.
Pokemon, same exact way, right? Everyone is always believing, they have this belief in their head that things are just going to collapse, that every person across the entire globe that sees value in these, that holds them as assets, is all going to agree simultaneously that they no longer have value. Just because some new sets may come out that aren't as sought after, or some demand may fall for a period of time, and some of the new sets may get cheaper, has no bearing on the rest of the Pokemon hobby and the value that is seen in these things and the holdings that a lot of wealthy people have now in these products. And I try to explain this to people. I tried to explain it in that video that, guys, all of this stuff, it's all just noise. It's all just fear. When things drop 10, 20, 30%, that's a buying signal. That is not a pull everything out and get scared and sit in cash signal, right? If things jump up 100, 200, 300% instantaneously, that's more of a sell signal than it is a drop.
I agree, right? As far as the sell signals. So he's not saying, so he doesn't think that these booster boxes for Destined Rivals and Prismatic Evolutions aren't sells, aren't tops. Some of these sets have literally went to, week one over $250 a box. Just something to think about, guys. These are top signals. Could Destined Rivals go to $500 next month? It's possible. Not probable. Could we see Journey Together go to $400 by end of the next year? Could we see another trainer waifu boom? It's possible, but probably not going to happen. These are all potentials, but we can look back in history. We can look back at certain cycles. These booster boxes, they appreciate well over time, but not like that.
Pokemon isn't even doing that right now. Sword and Shield had a massive uptick, and guess what? It corrected. A lot of boxes corrected 20, 30%. That's normal after a big run up, right? And everyone's waiting for that big correction on Scarlet Violet. Guys, Scarlet Violet has not made a massive uptick yet. It's been steadily rising since release. Once it goes out of rotation, out of print, that's when you'll likely see some massive upticks. And then, yeah, it will probably correct from the highs it sets then. It will probably have a period of stagnation.
So I actually think the opposite. And this one would be a hot take. But I think once we get into the mega sets and Generation 10, a lot of people are going to look back into Scarlet and Violet and say, what the hell were we so bullish about? Did we really like all of these ARs? Did we really like all the Pokemon that they chose? I'm going to go out on a whim and say I love all the random Pokemon that they put on these AR cards. But not a lot of people can say the same. I think we're going to look back in the Scarlet and Violet era and be like, holy, I need to get out of this stuff. Like, it's not that great of a set. That's my personal opinion. I always think it's going to be the opposite. He thinks that once the stuff gets out of print, I think people are going to realize what they have, realize what they've been sitting on, and then they see the newer, brighter, shinier object available. The Megas, Gen 10, or whatever. Gen 10 could be insane. We don't know. The 30th anniversary. We just don't know. I love Scarlet and Violet. I give it its flowers all the time. I think it's one of my favorite eras of all time. But I think a lot of, and I see the Reddit, see the Discords. I think a lot of people, they don't feel that same way though. They feel much more connected to Sword and Shield, XY, Sun and Moon, stuff like that.
And maybe some things may be a good time to pull out if you're looking to put money somewhere else that may perform better in the same time frame. I'm not here to say you should never sell. All I'm here to say is I watch this nonsense every day on YouTube, and it's always it's always imminent doom. It's always we're at a top, we're going to collapse. The reprints are going into the ground, return to MSRP, return to 100 a box, return to shelves being full with product not selling. And it's just like, what are people's goals? Is the goal to, I guess, try to scare enough people out of the hobby or away from enjoying Pokemon so that you can afford more? Because this is the thing. A lot of people in life, not just in Pokemon, just in life in general, they like to project their situation onto others, right? Whatever kind of situation you're in life, if you're happy, you're sad, if you're, you have money, you don't have money, you have a good job, you have a bad job, whatever it is that you have, you project onto others and you think, well, everyone's dealing with this, right? Like,
well, that's the thing, Alex. I think this is why you nailed it right in the head. It's a full circle moment. I think that's how you feel. I think that when things start coming down, you start to get a little bit afraid because maybe you're over allocated in Pokemon. You tell people all the time that you put all your money into Pokemon, all your stocks, your business, everything is in a Pokemon. So I think there's a little bit of truth to that statement that he just made. I think that he feels a little bit of the doom and gloom once he sees just a little bit of red in the markets. I could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. The thing is, when it comes to traditional investments, stocks, crypto, we see these big market manipulators come in and they want to crash these markets 20, 30, 40% so that they could come in and buy. That's not the same in Pokemon. People aren't making these YouTube videos, these red thumbnails, oh my gosh, show a crash, to come in and we just have all this side money to just come in and buy up all the Pokemon cards for cheap. No, most people just want it to be a fair playing ground for everybody. They want the kid with his mom to come into Target and Walmart and be able to grab a sleeve blister, 2, 3 of them if he wants. Grab a little collection box for his buddy's birthday. Maybe John over here wants to grab a ETB of every set for his sealed or for his investment. It's maybe 2 for one for his shield, one for his investment. Like, that's what feels normal. That's not what we're talking about here. I think when Alex is saying that people are like projecting all this stuff out there because that's how they feel inside, it's true for him.
Well, everybody is doing bad. Nobody can afford this stuff. It's like, then why is it that every single set still to this day, you have people throwing their money at it. You have stores ordering max amounts from distributors to where there's still no product at distributors.
But that's the contrast. The contrast is there's the people like Alex that can afford mass amounts of thousands of dollars of Pokemon. I'd argue that there's a lot of PokeTubers, and I will be covering a lot of these people in upcoming videos. Not a drama channel or anything, just upcoming stuff. There's a lot of these PokeTubers that are so disconnected with reality that the majority of people can't go out and invest in a case of Pokemon booster boxes or ETBs or Pokemon Center ETBs. That there is small time investors. And then we talk about the LGSs. LGS is ordering all this crazy product. LGSs are getting shafted the hardest right now. They're not getting any product. Again, I tell you guys, go watch Mason from Cardinal Gaming. Man, I feel sorry for that guy. Every video he talks about like allocations. Even Danny Phantom talks about bad allocations in this back end. I mean, we're seeing like gas stations get stuff, Ace Hardware get Pokemon stuff. No, we need to take care of the LGSs first. So this whole situation of Pokemon allocations and how people are able to collect and invest, it's a giant mess.
And everything still sells relatively quickly. Not just that, you have none of the older products taking nosedives, except the couple that got reprints, Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolutions, which both are now recovering. Things do not recover that quickly when things are weak. Things do not stay high when things are weak. Things do not set new highs like Twilight Masquerade, Paldea Evolved, etc. when things are weak. And the fact of the matter is, guys, the likely scenario is the same likely scenario in every single market. Things are likely going to keep marching forward.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna stop there. He says it's gonna be the same thing every cycle, and this is why I wanted to make this video, because I knew he'd eventually come bring it all the way around to this. It's gonna be the same way, right? It's also going to be the same way in the 4-year cycle or whatever, however many year cycle, the era cycle of each Pokemon set. The first half, we see it's slow, everyone's crapping on it, no one likes any of the starters, yada, yada, yada. It's a big complain fest. And then we start getting a little bit overheated. We see maybe a Charizard card, Paldean Fates, and everyone starts like, this is Scarlet and Violet era competing with Sword and Shield era? And then we see Greninja, everyone's now favorite character. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, Pizza Splatter Greninja. Is this the play? Is this the biggest card in this court? And it's just, you just feel the snowball. It's just being rolled and rolled slowly but surely. And then the Evolving Skies 1.5 comes out, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, Evolving Skies! It was the clear winner of the last Sword and Shield era. We have to just go out and sell the house and we're gonna be millionaires, everybody." Everyone's all, that one meme where everyone's all hugging each. We're gonna be millionaires, and it just barely floats above MSRP, and people are still clapping hands. People are getting stabbed over it. The cycles continue. We've seen this cycle again. Yes, Alex, things are going to march forward as you say, but things are going to correct. Things are going to crash. People are going to exit Pokemon. We see this every single cycle. I've only been here. It's gonna be my second era. So like Sword came back beginning of Sword and Shield. Now all the way through the Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, I told you guys, base set Jungle Fossil. A little bit of Neo Destiny, Neo Discovery, and a little bit of Team Rocket Returns, if I can remember. Those are the sets, and then I took a giant hiatus from Pokemon, right? So fairly new. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to call that. But I see the cycles. The cycles they repeat. Battle Styles was crazy on release. So was Shiny Fates crazy on release. There's a lot of these sets that you see the history. You don't take it for all that is. You don't look at history and be like, that's exactly how this 4-year cycle is going to play out. Now there's things that are different. Pandemic happened, all that stuff. Logan Paul got into it stuff. got into opening Pokemon live streams, and we had rip and ship culture come in. Insert Alex and his business, his very successful business. He paid off his house. Shout out to Alex. Like, he plays the part well. He understands the YouTube game, and this is why he's one of the best Pokemon creators, and this is why so many people talk about him and react to him, and because he knows how to play the game. But that's it for today's video, everybody. I just wanted to throw a quick little reaction video for you guys. I think the market's on the brink of collapse. Absolutely not. I just think it's gonna go on a downturn for a little bit. It's gonna have a short little wick to the downturn. I think Pokemon's gonna be fine. I think our investments are gonna be fine. Sealed products, singles, all gonna be fine. PSA gonna be fine. And even when we have a bear market, big crash, that's what you're gonna see in the thumbnails. It doesn't really reflect all of us, right? You guys have to remember that we're such a small percentage of the total Pokemon community when it comes to just being involved, right? YouTube isn't everything. YouTube isn't how everyone feels. There's a lot of people that don't even watch a lot of these YouTubers and invest in content, and they just go out there, try to 5 packs with their friends on a weekend, make an adventure out of it, have fun, collect the cards, throw in a binder, hell, maybe even throw in a plastic baggie, don't even sleeve it, throw it in your pocket. There is those kids still alive and well. Before you leave, just make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe, goes a long way. Push this channel to more Pokemon lovers like yourselves. We are so close to 3K. Just smash all the likes, the buttons, the comments, leave an emoji, sunglass emoji. Until next time, I'll catch you guys with a fresh new video. Peace out.